Under the pale glow of the moon, Ibrahim Traoré sat in his office, a room filled with books and documents that chronicled his rise as a community leader. He was preparing for an important speech that would address thousands of people gathered in the town square. The air was thick with anticipation, but beneath his composed exterior, Ibrahim felt an unsettling weight pressing on his shoulders. As a prominent figure, he had always been aware of the threats that surrounded him: political adversaries, opportunists, and those envious of his success. Yet the most significant threat came from within his own family, specifically from his cousin, Malik. Once a close ally and friend, Malik had morphed into a figure shrouded in jealousy and resentment. The two had grown up together, sharing dreams and ambitions. But as Ibrahim found success and recognition, Malik's jealousy festered. Their friendship had deteriorated into a series of heated arguments and confrontations. Ibrahim had tried to reach out to Malik, hoping to mend their fractured relationship. But Malik's heart had become a fortress of bitterness. As Ibrahim prepared to greet his audience, he recorded a promotional video for his channel, The Voice of Ibrahim Traoré. In the video, he spoke passionately about unity, resilience, and the importance of standing together against injustice. He urged viewers to subscribe, believing that sharing his thoughts could inspire change. Little did he know, while he was focused on uplifting his community, Malik was plotting something far more sinister. Malik had spent months nursing his grievances, allowing his envy to morph into a dangerous obsession. He believed that by eliminating Ibrahim, he would finally step out of his cousin's shadow. In his mind, Ibrahim's downfall would signal his own rise to power. The rally would be the perfect opportunity for Malik to execute his plan, shrouded in the chaos of the event. As the day of the rally approached, the atmosphere in the town was electric. Banners adorned the streets, proclaiming messages of hope and change. People from all walks of life gathered, eager to hear Ibrahim speak. He was more than just a leader. He was a symbol of their collective aspirations. But hidden in the crowd, Malik was preparing for an act that would shatter the very foundation of their community. On the evening of the rally, the square was filled with thousands of enthusiastic supporters, their faces illuminated by colorful lights. Ibrahim stepped onto the stage, his heart racing with excitement and determination. He felt the weight of his responsibility, knowing that his words could inspire change or incite chaos. With a deep breath, he began his speech, calling for unity and resilience in the face of adversity. "Together, we can build a brighter future," he declared, his voice resonating with passion. The crowd erupted in applause, their energy fueling his resolve. Yet in the shadows at the edge of the square, Malik lurked, his heart pounding with a mixture of fear and anticipation. He had prepared meticulously, ensuring that everything would go according to plan. As Ibrahim continued to speak, Malik slipped through the crowd, his eyes fixed on his target. He could feel the adrenaline coursing through his veins, drowning out the whispers of doubt. This was his moment, and he was determined to seize it. He had arranged for a gunman, a skilled marksman who would carry out the assassination while the crowd was distracted. Just as Ibrahim reached the climax of his speech, the sound of a gunshot rang out, piercing the night like a lightning bolt. Panic erupted as people screamed and scrambled for safety. Ibrahim felt a sharp pain in his shoulder, but he refused to succumb to fear. He turned to see Malik standing at the periphery, eyes wild with a mix of triumph and horror. "You will not live to see another day," Malik shouted, his voice barely audible over the chaos. But before he could take another step, Ibrahim's security team sprang into action. They rushed forward, tackling Malik to the ground and securing him in handcuffs. The moment felt surreal, as if time had slowed down. Ibrahim struggled to remain upright, his vision blurring from both the pain and the shock of betrayal. As the crowd dispersed, chaos reigned. Ibrahim was swiftly taken away in an ambulance, his mind racing with thoughts of Malik. How could someone he once considered a brother turn into his greatest enemy? The question haunted him as he lay in the hospital waiting for the outcome of his surgery. It was a painful reminder of the fragility of trust and the darkness that could lurk within even the closest relationship. In the sterile hospital room, surrounded by the beeping of machines and the smell of antiseptic, Ibrahim reflected on his life. He had devoted himself to serving the community, believing that compassion and understanding could create a better world. Yet here he was fighting for his life, betrayed by the one person he had hoped would stand by him. 2 days passed in a haze of pain and recovery. The surgery had been successful, but the emotional scars ran deep. Ibrahim's resolve began to solidify as he lay in his hospital bed. He realized that he could not allow Malik's actions to define him or his mission. Instead of seeking revenge, he would explore the possibility of redemption. As he recovered, Ibrahim began to formulate a plan. He would confront Malik not with hatred or anger, but with a desire to understand. He wanted to know what had driven his cousin to such treachery. Perhaps in doing so, he could help Malik find his way back from the darkness. Finally, the day came when Ibrahim was discharged from the hospital. He was determined to face Malik, to offer him a chance at redemption, even after everything that had happened. Ibrahim understood that true strength lay not in vengeance, but in forgiveness. As he prepared to visit Malik in prison, Ibrahim's heart was heavy with uncertainty. Would Malik accept his offer? Would he be willing to confront the demons that had driven him to betrayal? Ibrahim took a deep breath, steeling himself with the confrontation that lay ahead. It was time to face the truth, no matter how painful it might be. The path ahead was fraught with challenges, but Ibrahim knew he had to try for the sake of their family, their community, and, ultimately, for Malik himself. The journey of healing was just beginning, and Ibrahim was ready to lead the way. The day of the rally dawned bright and clear, creating an atmosphere charged with energy and anticipation. Thousands of people filled the town square, their faces lit with hope and excitement. Banners adorned the streets, proclaiming messages of solidarity and progress. Ibrahim Traoré stood at the center of it all, feeling the weight of his responsibility as he prepared to deliver a speech that could change lives. As Ibrahim stepped onto the stage, he felt the roar of the crowd wash over him like a wave. He took a deep breath, steadying his nerves. This was not just another speech, it was a call to action. He had spent countless hours crafting his message, aiming to inspire unity among the people. The rally was a pivotal moment, a chance to galvanize support for his vision of a better future. Together, we are stronger. Ibrahim declared, his voice resonating through the square. The audience erupted in applause, their enthusiasm fueling his passion. He spoke of justice, empowerment, and the importance of standing together against corruption. But even as he electrified the crowd, a dark shadow loomed in the background. Malik, his cousin, was lurking among the throngs of supporters. Malik had spent months nursing his grievances, consumed by jealousy and resentment toward Ibrahim. As he watched his cousin bask in the adoration of the crowd, his heart burned with envy. The once close bond they shared had disintegrated, replaced by a toxic desire for revenge. In his mind, violence was the only answer. He believed that by eliminating Ibrahim, he would finally step out from his cousin's shadow and seize the power he craved. While Ibrahim inspired hope, Malik was preparing to execute a meticulously crafted plan. He had secured the help of a skilled marksman, a shadowy figure who operated from the underbelly of society. Malik had ensured that the gunman would strike during the height of the rally, when the crowd would be most distracted. In his mind, it was a foolproof plan. Chaos would reign, and he would slip away unnoticed. As the speech reached its climax, Ibrahim felt the energy in the air shift. The crowd was captivated, their eyes locked on him, hanging on his every word. We must rise above our differences. We must build a future that our children can be proud of, he shouted. His voice filled with conviction. But at that moment, Malik's heart raced with a mixture of fear and excitement. He was at the edge of the crowd, watching intently as his cousin spoke. As Ibrahim raised his arms, calling for unity, Malik's finger tightened on the trigger. His mind raced with conflicting emotions. Was he really prepared to do this? But the allure of power drowned out the doubt. Suddenly, a deafening gunshot echoed through the square, shattering the air like glass. Panic erupted instantly. People screamed and scrambled for safety, their faces contorted with terror. Ibrahim felt a sharp pain explode in his shoulder, causing him to stumble back. But even in that moment of chaos, his instinct to stand tall kicked in. He turned to face the source of the shot, his heart pounding with disbelief. There stood Malik, eyes wide with a mix of triumph and horror. "You will not live to see another day," he bellowed. But before he could take another step, Ibrahim's security team sprang into action. They moved with lightning speed, tackling Malik to the ground and restraining him as the crowd continued to panic. As Ibrahim swayed on the stage, his vision blurred. Blood seeped through his shirt, and he could feel the warmth spreading across his skin. He fought to stay conscious, aware that he needed to maintain control amidst the chaos. Just as voices around him began to fade, he heard the frantic shouts of his security team, urging him to get to safety. "Get him out of here," one of the guards shouted, pointing to Malik, who was being dragged away, still struggling against his captors. Ibrahim's heart sank as he realized the depth of his betrayal. The shock of the situation was overwhelming, and he felt a myriad of emotions: anger, confusion, and a deep sense of loss. As the crowd dispersed, Ibrahim was rushed to the hospital. In an ambulance, the siren wailing like a cry for help. In the sterile environment of the emergency room, he lay on the operating table surrounded by medical staff who were working frantically to save his life. The pain was excruciating, but his mind was racing with thoughts of Malik. How could someone he once considered family turn into his greatest enemy? The hours dragged on as Ibrahim fought for his life. He was aware of the blurred faces around him, the soft murmurs of concern, and the sterile smells of antiseptic. As he slipped in and out of consciousness, he found himself reflecting on his relationship with Malik. They had shared laughter dreams and a bond that felt unbreakable just a few years prior. But now it felt as though that bond had been severed by betrayal. Days passed in a haze of pain and recovery, and Ibrahim finally woke up to the dim light of his hospital room. The beeping of machines surrounded him, a constant reminder of his vulnerability. As he lay there, he began to realize that this moment could not define him. He had always believed in the power of compassion and understanding, and he knew that seeking revenge would only lead to more suffering. Once the doctors determined that he was stable, they discharged him from the hospital. Ibrahim felt a mix of relief and apprehension as he prepared to face the world outside. He knew he had to confront Malik not with anger, but with the hope of redemption. He wanted to understand what had driven his cousin to such darkness. Arriving at the prison to meet Malik, Ibrahim's heart raced. Would Malik be willing to listen? Would he accept his offer of reconciliation? As he stepped into the sterile visiting room, he spotted Malik sitting alone, his expression a mixture of defiance and guilt. "Why did you do it?" Malik Ibrahim asked, his voice steady but filled with hurt. "What drove you to betray your own family?" Malik looked up, his eyes flickering with emotion. "You wouldn't understand," he replied, bitterness lacing his words. "You've always been the golden boy, while I've been nothing but a shadow. I never wanted to overshadow you," Ibrahim countered, his voice calm. "I wanted to lift you up. We could have achieved so much together." As they exchanged words, Ibrahim realized that Malik was trapped in his own web of jealousy and anger. He had become consumed by the belief that power and success were only attainable through betrayal. Ibrahim understood that the road to healing would be long and difficult, but he was determined to guide Malik back to the light. In that moment, Ibrahim made a decision. He would not abandon his cousin even after the betrayal. He would extend an olive branch, offering Malik a chance at redemption. It was time for them to confront the darkness together, to rebuild what had been broken. "I want to help you," Malik Ibrahim said earnestly. "You can be a force for good. Let's work together. Let's build something that will benefit our community Malik's expression softened slightly, and for the first time, Ibrahim saw a glimmer of hope in his cousin's eyes. It was a small step, but it was a step toward healing. The journey ahead would be fraught with challenges, but Ibrahim was ready to face them head-on. He believed in the power of forgiveness and the strength of family, and he would fight for Malik's redemption no matter how difficult the path. After weeks of recovery, Ibrahim Traoré emerged from the shadows of the hospital, determined to reclaim his life and his mission. The events of the rally weighed heavily on his heart, but he felt a renewed sense of purpose. Instead of seeking revenge against Malik for the betrayal, he resolved to explore the possibility of redemption for his cousin. Ibrahim believed that true strength lay not in hatred, but in understanding and forgiveness. The day arrived when he would confront Malik again, this time not as adversaries, but as family. Ibrahim felt a mix of apprehension and determination as he approached the prison where Malik was incarcerated. He had spent countless hours contemplating how to reach out to his cousin, hoping to break through the walls that Malik had built around himself. As he stepped into the visitation room, Ibrahim's heart raced. Malik sat at a table, his demeanor a mix of defiance and vulnerability. The scars of their past conflict were still fresh, but Ibrahim was determined to find common ground. He took a deep breath and approached Malik, who looked up with a mixture of surprise and wariness. "I've come to talk," Ibrahim said, his voice steady but gentle. "I want to understand why you did what you did." Malik's eyes narrowed, and he leaned back in his chair. "You think you can just waltz in here and pretend everything is fine? You have no idea what I've been through." "I know you're hurting," Ibrahim replied, sincerity evident in his tone. "But this path you're on, it's leading you to darkness. You can choose a different way." Malik scoffed, but didn't respond. Ibrahim pressed on. "I don't want to fight you, Malik. I want to help you find a way out of this anger. You don't have to be defined by your jealousy." For a moment, silence hung between them, heavy with unspoken emotions. Malik's defenses were crumbling, and Ibrahim could see the conflict in his cousin's eyes. "And what makes you think I want your help?" Malik shot back, though his voice lacked the venom it once held. "Because you're stronger than this," Ibrahim urged. "You have potential, Malik. You've always been intelligent and resourceful. I believe you can use those qualities for something good." Malik shifted in his seat, his expression softening slightly. Ibrahim pressed on, determined to reach him. "I want to offer you a chance. Once you're out of here, I want you to join me as a leader in our community. We can work together to build something meaningful." The proposal hung in the air, and Ibrahim watched as Malik wrestled with his thoughts. "You would trust me again after everything I've done?" he asked, disbelief etched on his face. "I believe in the power of redemption," Ibrahim replied earnestly. "We all make mistakes. What matters is how we learn from them and move forward. You can choose to be a force for good." Slowly, Malik's hardened exterior began to crack. Ibrahim could see the flicker of hope in his cousin's eyes. "But what if I fail again?" "What if I can't change? Then we will face it together," Ibrahim assured him. "You won't be alone. We can create a future where we support and uplift each other. It's time to break the cycle of jealousy and betrayal." Malik leaned forward, his voice trembling. "You really believe that I can change?" "I do," Ibrahim affirmed. "You have the strength within you. You just need to believe in yourself again." As they continued to talk, Malik began to open up about his feelings of inadequacy and the pressure he had felt growing up in Ibrahim's shadow. He recounted moments from their childhood, where he had always felt second best, fueling the envy that had consumed him. Ibrahim listened intently, understanding the pain that had driven Malik to such dark actions. The conversation deepened, and over time, the walls between them began to crumble. Malik's heart softened as he realized that Ibrahim wasn't there to condemn him, but to offer a lifeline. The hope of redemption was a powerful force, one that Malik had long thought lost. "I'll consider your offer," Malik finally said, his voice barely above a whisper. But it won't be easy. I have a lot to atone for. I'm willing to help you every step of the way, Ibrahim replied, gratitude swelling in his chest. You're not alone in this fight. As the meeting concluded, Ibrahim felt a sense of relief mixed with cautious optimism. He had taken the first step toward healing their fractured relationship. Malik's willingness to consider change was a glimmer of hope in a dark situation. Over the next few weeks, as Malik served out his sentence, Ibrahim continued to visit him regularly. Each meeting became an opportunity for growth and understanding. They discussed plans for the future strategies for community outreach and the importance of building trust among their people. Ibrahim brought books for Malik to read, books about leadership, empathy, and the power of community. Malik devoured the material, finding inspiration in stories of redemption and transformation. The prison walls that had once felt like a cage began to feel like a sanctuary, where he could reflect on his past and envision a brighter future. With each visit, he felt a sense of purpose rekindling within him. When Malik's release date finally arrived, Ibrahim was there to welcome him with open arms. The moment felt surreal, a culmination of their shared journey toward healing. "Welcome back," Ibrahim said, his smile genuine and warm. Malik stood before him, unsure of how to respond. "I'm ready," he said, determination flooding his voice. "I want to do this." Together, they began to forge a new path, one that would not only change their lives, but also impact their community. Ibrahim appointed Malik as a leader in their initiative, giving him responsibilities that would challenge him while allowing him to utilize his strengths. They worked side by side, organizing events that promoted unity and empowerment. As they faced challenges together, the bond between them grew stronger. Malik learned to channel his energy into positive actions, and with Ibrahim's guidance, he began to inspire others who had faced similar struggles. The journey was not without difficulties, but each obstacle only reinforced their commitment to one another and to their shared mission. Through their collaboration, Ibrahim and Malik transformed their story of betrayal into one of hope and redemption, proving that even in the darkest of times, it was possible to rise again together. As Ibrahim and Malik embarked on their journey of redemption, they faced a myriad of challenges that tested their resolve and commitment to one another. The road ahead was fraught with obstacles, but they were determined to transform their experiences into a force for good within their community. One of the first challenges they encountered was skepticism from the community. Many people were aware of Malik's past, his betrayal, the assassination attempt, and his time in prison. Rumors spread quickly, and some residents questioned Ibrahim's decision to reintegrate Malik into leadership. "How can we trust him?" they whispered. "He's proven himself to be a traitor." Ibrahim recognized that overcoming this skepticism would be no easy feat. He organized a community event inviting everyone to a town hall meeting where both he and Malik would address the public. As they stood before the crowd, Ibrahim spoke passionately about forgiveness and the importance of second chances. "We all make mistakes," he declared. "What matters is how we choose to learn from them." When it was Malik's turn to speak, he felt a wave of anxiety wash over him. The eyes of the community were fixed on him, some filled with hostility. "I know I've made terrible choices," he began, his voice trembling. "But I want to change. I want to be a part of building something better for all of us." As he spoke, Malik shared his story, his feelings of inadequacy, his jealousy, and the dark path he had taken. He expressed genuine remorse for his actions and a desire to make amends. "I won't ask you to forgive me right away," he said, his voice steadying. "But I promise to work hard to earn your trust." The response was mixed. Some community members nodded in understanding, while others remained unconvinced. Ibrahim could sense the tension in the air, but he was determined to continue encouraging Malik. They planned follow-up events focusing on community service and outreach to demonstrate their commitment to positive change. However, not all challenges were social. As they began organizing community initiatives, they faced logistical hurdles. Funding was limited, and they struggled to secure resources for their projects. Malik found himself frustrated, battling old feelings of inadequacy as he tried to navigate these obstacles. What if we can't make this work? He confided to Ibrahim one evening. What if I'm just a failure again? Ibrahim placed a reassuring hand on Malik's shoulder. We'll figure it out together. Every challenge is an opportunity to learn. Let's reach out to local businesses and ask for support. We can show them the positive impact we want to make. Taking Ibrahim's advice, they started visiting local businesses, presenting their vision, and requesting sponsorship for community events. Many were hesitant at first, recalling Malik's past, but Ibrahim's unwavering belief in his cousin began to sway some opinions. Slowly, they secured small donations and partnerships, allowing them to launch their first community project, a neighborhood cleanup day. The event was a success, attracting a diverse group of volunteers. As they worked side by side, picking up litter and planting flowers, the atmosphere shifted. People began to see Malik not as a betrayer, but as a fellow community member dedicated to making a difference. Laughter and camaraderie filled the air. And for the first time, Malik felt a sense of belonging. However, as they continued to gain momentum, an unforeseen challenge emerged. A group of individuals from the community, still harboring resentment toward Malik, began to undermine their efforts. They spread rumors and attempted to sabotage upcoming events, trying to reignite tensions. At a planning meeting, Ibrahim and Malik learned that someone had defaced their promotional material, replacing their message of hope with hateful graffiti. Malik's initial reaction was one of anger. "They'll never let me live this down," he exclaimed, frustration boiling over. "What's the point of trying if they're just going to keep dragging me back into the past?" Ibrahim took a deep breath, grounding himself. "We can't let them win, Malik. This is a test of our commitment. We must rise above their negativity and show that we're stronger together. Let's address the community directly. We'll hold a forum to discuss these issues openly." Reluctantly, Malik agreed. The forum was set for the following week, and the atmosphere was charged with anticipation. When the day arrived, Ibrahim and Malik stood before the crowd, ready to confront the challenges head-on. Ibrahim began by acknowledging the hurt and anger that lingered in the community. "We understand that trust takes time," he said, "but we're here to listen and to learn. We want to create a space where everyone feels heard." When it was Malik's turn to speak, he felt a mix of fear and determination. "I know I've made mistakes, and I can't change the past," he admitted. "But I'm committed to being a better person and contributing positively to our community. I ask for your patience and understanding as I strive to make amends." The crowd listened intently, and slowly some began to soften. A few community members voiced their concerns, and Ibrahim facilitated a respectful dialogue. The more they talked, the more it became clear that healing required vulnerability and openness from both sides. By the end of the forum, a shift had occurred. While not everyone was ready to embrace Malik, many began to see him in a new light. The conversation sparked a renewed sense of hope within the community. Ibrahim and Malik's commitment to change was starting to resonate. As they left the forum, Malik felt a weight lifting off his shoulders. "I didn't realize how much I needed to share my story," he said, a hint of relief in his voice. "Thank you for believing in me, Ibrahim. I wouldn't have made it this far without you." "I believe in you because I see the potential within you," Ibrahim replied. "And together we will continue to face whatever challenges come our way. Our journey is just beginning." With each challenge they faced, Ibrahim and Malik grew stronger, united by a shared purpose. They learned that true leadership was not about perfection, but about resilience, empathy, and the willingness to confront adversity together. Their story became a testament to the power of forgiveness and the transformative nature of second chances, proving that even in the face of the darkest moments, there is always a path toward redemption. As the sun set on their journey, Ibrahim and Malik stood together at the edge of the town square, looking out at the community they had worked so hard to heal. The once divided residents were now coming together, united by a common goal: to build a brighter future for themselves and generations to come. Over the months, their efforts had transformed not only their own relationship, but also the entire community. The projects they launched, cleanups, educational workshops, and mentorship programs, had fostered a sense of belonging and empowerment among residents. People began to share their stories, their struggles and triumphs, creating a vibrant tapestry of experiences that enriched their community. Yet challenges still lingered. There were moments of doubt, instances when the shadows of Malik's past threatened to resurface. But each time Ibrahim was there to remind them of the progress they had made. "We've come too far to let negativity define us," he would say. "Let's focus on the positive impact we can create." The day finally arrived for their biggest event yet, a community festival celebrating unity and resilience. As the festival unfolded, laughter and joy filled the air. Families gathered, children played, and art adorned the streets, showcasing the talents of local artists. Ibrahim and Malik moved through the crowd, greeting neighbors and friends. At the heart of the festival, they set up a stage for speeches, inviting community members to share their stories. As Malik stood before the crowd, he felt a mix of nervousness and excitement. This time he wasn't facing a hostile audience. He was speaking to friends and allies. "Today we celebrate not just our community, but the journey we've all taken." He began, his voice steady. "I stand before you, not as the man I was, but as someone who has learned the power of forgiveness and redemption. I have made mistakes, but I'm committed to being a better person, to building a future with all of you." The crowd erupted in applause, and Malik felt a rush of gratitude. He had come so far from the darkness that once consumed him. As he looked out at the smiling faces, he knew that the journey was worth every struggle. Ibrahim took the stage, next, his heart swelling with pride for his cousin. "Today is a testament to what we can achieve when we choose love over hatred, understanding over resentment. We are stronger together, and our stories bind us in ways that create lasting change." As the festival continued, Ibrahim and Malik watched as people danced, shared meals, and connected in ways they had never seen before. They had transformed their pain into purpose, and in doing so, they had woven a new narrative for their community. In the months that followed, they continued to build on their successes. Malik took on a leadership role in local initiatives, guiding youth programs that focused on mentorship and personal development. Ibrahim remained a steadfast supporter, always encouraging Malik to embrace his potential. Their story became a beacon of hope, inspiring others to seek forgiveness and pursue redemption. People began to come forward, sharing their own struggles and triumphs, creating a culture of openness and support. One day, as they walked through the revitalized town square, Malik turned to Ibrahim, a thoughtful expression on his face. "Do you ever think about how far we've come?" he asked, a hint of disbelief in his voice. "I do," Ibrahim replied, smiling. "And I'm proud of us. We've shown that change is possible even when the odds seem stacked against us." As they stood together, watching the sunset paint the sky in shades of orange and pink, they knew that their journey was far from over. The road ahead would still have its challenges, but they were ready to face whatever came their way together. In the end, their story was not just one of betrayal and redemption. It was a testament to the power of love, understanding, and the unwavering belief that everyone has the capacity for change. They had turned a painful chapter into a new beginning, one filled with hope and possibility. And in that moment, they knew they had truly forged a bond that would last a lifetime. If you've followed the story and believe in a future where African nations speak with one voice, stand on their own feet, and reclaim their own narrative, we invite you to stay with us. Subscribe to our channel, The Voice of Ibrahim Traoré, and be part of a growing movement that believes in truth, dignity, and sovereignty. This is not the end of the story, it is only the beginning.